We've made it to multicolored! Now the real fun starts. And if you thought the cards weren't complex enough, wait till they mash in the mechanics from 2 colors at once.
Okay. Alright. Agros cost. Spirit of Justice. 2 and a red and a white. Legendary creature. Spirit Detective. It's a mythic. It's a 2/4 with double strike and vigilance. Whenever Agros cost Spirit of Justice enters the battlefield or attacks, choose up to 1 target creature. If it's suspected, exile it. Otherwise, suspect it. Brazoken. That's really good. He's got a big booty. Double strike.
Yes, it also has...
So it
just exiles
a large
things.
penis as well.
Just exiles things. All the time.
Doesn't it exile something on the first attack, Thomas?
Well, it...
Because of the double strike?
Yeah.
What do you mean exile? No, it's when it attacks.
But because it has double strike, is that considered 2 attacks?
No, it's not.
Attacking
Attacking is the declare attacker step.
Okay.
Double strike only matters in the sense that you deal damage during the first strike damage phase and the regular damage phase.
It still exiles something the first time it gets to attack.
Correct. It could exile something right when it comes into play if you've already suspected something, or if your opponent has something that's suspected. Because again, we have no idea how easy it is to suspect things, but I have seen a couple cards in passing, and suspecting things is just like kind of free. So what we mean by free is like you have these stock cards and stock slots in limited that like do a thing, and like this is always kind of in the set, but every set has its little flair on it. Mm-hmm. So the question is like which of these abilities, like surveilling to put stuff in your yard, or looting, or rummaging, or suspecting stuff, how much of that is just tacked onto the already stock slots? And I seem to recall that suspect is somewhat tacked on.
Okay.
And it would make sense if red and white did it, right? Because that's like the Aurelia Justice. Spirit of Justice.
I mean, he's saying eventually I'll give retirement another shot, but not today.
So yeah, I mean, you have insane complaint equity in limited if someone plays this on you.
Yeah.
And this is maybe good enough for some other stuff too. Like double strike vigilance is such a house that potentially just exiles a creature when it comes into play.
Yeah.
It can.
That's tough.
It says up to 1 target creature, so he can also target himself. He can give himself menace.
Yeah.
When he attacks. Like, imagine something suspected when you come into play, you exile it immediately. When he attacks, he targets himself to make him a menace vigilance double strike.
Why not?
Wild.
This could even be played in like as like a creature in an artifact or an equipment deck specifically, because like there's so many easy ways to give this haste.
Yeah, it's a wild card. It's a wild card. All right, that was you, right? Now it's Gabe.
Alquist Croft, Master Sleuth, 1 white and a blue, legendary creature, human detective at Mythic. He's a 3/3. Vigilance. When Alquist Croft, Master Sleuth, enters the battlefield, investigate. Pay X white and 2 blue and tap it. Sacrifice a clue. You draw X cards and gain X life.
The joke is that ability is Sphinx's Revelation on a stick. Like, that was a somewhat standard meta-defining instant that had that same text. It was X, white, blue, blue. You draw X cards, lose X, or gain X life at instant speed, and it was pretty good. But Magic's now at the point where they just put that as a every turn ability on a 3/3 vigilance for 3.
I mean, this card's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it's good to have, obviously, because it's a 3/3 vigilance, but for 3. But I mean, it's not like how often are you using this in limited? I guess if you get it off once limited, you're gonna win.
Well, first of all, this is a 3/3 vigilance that just draws a card, and the fact that it has vigilance,
You have to sack a clue though to use it.
No. I mean, just it creates a clue. Just eventually you can draw. It has already replaced itself just by coming into play. It also investigates, which I'm just saying that's just
investigates.
But that's creating a clue. So
yeah,
if
that
you
makes
don't have more than one clue, you still can't use the ability until you have another clue.
Well, I'm just saying in general, like making a clue is much worse than just saying draw a card when you come into play. But it's not that far off, especially if you have other artifacts energies. But the fact that he has vigilance and presumably you're playing a very controlling deck, you can always attack with him and hold up this ability, right? Like that's like in limited, I'm playing this on turn 3, and then I'm attacking on turn 4 probably, assuming they can't just trade, which they probably can't. And then I'm doing nothing. And I'm going to do that for every turn. And at the end of their turn, I'm going to harass them.
Yeah.
By like bouncing something, tapping something, and then eventually I'll just be like draw 3, gain 3, and you've lost the game.
And you've got 30 life.
Yeah.
Because why not?
This is probably like an A in limited, maybe an A minus. It's probably not good enough in anything else, but it's really cool.
Yeah. People will try to make a deck in like command.
It might be fun. It might be fine in Commander. I mean, it has artifact and draws energies.
Yeah.
Oh, this card. It's $22 right now. But this card is awesome. Is it me? I get it.
Yeah, go for
it. Just hold on to your seats, okay, for this one. Ansrog, the Quake Mole, 2 red-green, very angry, legendary creature, Mole God. At Mythic. This is the 3rd Mythic in a row. It is an 8/4 for 4. Whenever it is blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there is an additional combat phase. That's right. That's upside for the 8/4 for 4. A huge upside. Also, you may pay 7 mana for some reason, 3 red, green, green, and force someone to block it. Because they like getting hit for 8. So...
Oh my god.
That's the most absurd ability I've ever seen printed on a creature. Because it's an 8/4, and the implication is that, they're just not going to block
it. This card is out of control.
Yeah.
His claws tear the foundations of civilization.
It does. These people are like, look at that guy, like, backwards on his neck, upside down. He's like, fuck.
Is this like an S plus? Like, this is...
Oh, in limited, this is... You better kill it immediately or you're not having any fun.
Yeah.
Even if it attacks once, it's brutal.
It's
like,
done. Yeah.
With best case scenario... It attacks once, you trade it off with a 4/4, and then they attack you again that same turn.
Right.
The implication of the ability is that you're doing something degenerate in Commander, and you really specifically want the combat phase. It's like a kicker, because in Commander, someone might just be like, I take 8.
Yeah.
But also, so notice that it says each creature you control, each, including himself.
Yeah.
So if you have a way to make him invulnerable and have infinite mana, which sounds ridiculous, but like in Commander, that's not. He is a win con by himself. Like, if you have infinite mana, you can just be like, Heroic Intervention. All you need to do is cast Heroic Intervention if you have infinite mana with this, and you have infinite attacks into everybody. So now that I say that out loud, that's definitely why they put that ability on it, and that's definitely why they made it cost 7, because it is an infinite in unto itself. So broken in everything except for Sirius constructed. A 20 out of 10. Love the design. Mole God.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
$31 pre-release.
Holy shit.
Oh, this is fitting that you need to read this one.
Yeah, Assassin's Trophy. A black and a green. It's an instant. It's rare. Destroy target permanent an opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle.
Yeah.
I like it.
Reprint.
It's gonna be good.
So you know how Let It Go costs 5?
Yeah.
It's cost 2. And hits anything, any permanent.
Yeah.
And the fun trick with this is, let's say there's probably a card in blue, because this is a thing that they do at Uncommon, that's like a 1/1 flyer for 1 that makes a clue. Or let's say there's a green 1/1 for 1 that makes a clue when you put it into play. That's something that they might make. On turn 2, you target your own clue with this.
Yeah.
To just accelerate. You can do that.
Yeah.
Also, the art is great.
Yeah. Love it. This card's great. Probably sees play in Standard. Constructed. Is already played in Commander. Is not broken. Is a good card. Absolute slam in Limited.
So good in Limited.
Speaking of a likely slam in Limited, the namesake.
Yeah.
Not the namesake, the art sake.
It's not a mythic though. Aurelia, the Law
Weird.
Above.
It is weird.
3 red and a white. Legendary creature Angel. And it's a 4/4 flying vigilance haste. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia, the Law Above deals 3 damage to each of your opponents, and you gain 3 life.
Awful.
So,
never play it in anything.
Yeah. I don't want to see it.
0 out of 10.
I don't want to see it played on me.
I mean, there's not a lot to say here because it's just very good.
This is very good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It fits in decks that care about this in Commander. It's not going to be good in other constructed formats, but Limited, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, and specifically Angel Commander decks, it's like fine. It's pretty good in Commander because it's whenever a player, so it's pretty good in Commander.
Yes.
That's what they did with this. They like made it broken and Limited, unlikely to be good enough in Constructed, and then like pretty good in Commander.
Yeah.
Because it's also like honest. You know what I mean? You can play this in casual Commander, and no one's like this fucking guy, but it's really good in casual Commander. Like it's a house.
Yeah,
this is
3/3
just
game
a solid
life.
card.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's a good design. Yeah, I can't wait for that the legendary 2/4 double strike vigilance guys. I was gonna play that on turn 4 on me, and then really on turn 5. I'm going to take the laptop and throw it out of the window. And that would be that. All right, my turn. Blood Splatter Analysis.
Definitely
Red and a
Gabe's turn.
black. No, he just won. He's the Aurelia.
It's definitely your turn.
Blood Splatter. You want to see some Blood Splatter Analysis?
That was Gabe.
Huh?
Blood splatter analysis for black and red.
Yeah. Was this Gabe's card? Gabe read this one, right?
No. It's definitely yours, Thomas.
Yeah, it's yours.
You've thrown me completely for a loop. All right, it's an enchantment.
You should blood splatter Jacob.
Yeah. It's a rare enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, it does 3 damage to target creature an opponent controls. That's good.
Yep.
Whenever 1 or more creatures die, mill a card and put a bloodstain counter on Splatter Analysis, then sacrifice it if it has 5 or more bloodstain counters on it. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. To the hand.
I just realized something. It says spatter, not splatter.
It does say spatter.
It does say spatter.
That's even worse. Blood spatter when you want to say
it's just
splatter.
Spattered about.
Spattered blood.
I mean, look at the picture. It's not really splattered.
Like this. I know we've said it so many times already, but this is such an unbelievable example of them just wanting to print words on a card. Like
it is a mouthful of words.
The lead is it deals 3 damage to something for 2 mana, and then they were like, "Fuck it, let's make it an enchantment. Let's make 5 hoops to jump through." Also put self-mill on it so that you have a greater chance to hit the payoff, which is sacrificing it. And then you get a creature back.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's pretty good, like, against board wipes, too. Like in Commander, right? Because, like, they board wipe, you can mill just the self-mill off a board wipe. Like, let's say a board wipe kills a bunch of tokens or something, you're like, self-mill 20. You know, at that point, it's like a tutor. So, yeah, I guess it is, but it's just so many words, it's exhausting. It's good. I mean, you're playing this in limited. It's a 3 damage for 2 mana, and maybe it draws you your best creature in your graveyard.
Yeah, the top's fine, and if the bottom happens, you're happy. Creature.
It's possible this is even good in standard. I mean, I'm not like poo-pooing the power of it, but it's just like it even took me a second to really get that it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And also like it's kind of bitchy in real life when you're like, okay, I gotta track, because like in real life playing Magic, there's so many things to track. When they make complexity like this, you're like, okay, gotta remember to put counters on this little thing. Online, it will do it for you and be much easier.
Yeah. Doppelgang. XXX green blue. What does that even mean?
That means that this either costs 5 mana, 8 mana, 11 mana, 15 mana, or sorry, 14 mana. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
16 mana.
So Doppelgang
or 17
for a lot plus a green and a blue.
Yep.
As long as it's divisible by 3 plus a green or a blue. Sorcery, it's rare. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of what?
Of that permanent.
Why do you look at me like that?
I didn't look at you.
Did look at me?
I didn't mean to.
Oh. I thought I didn't read something.
No, you nailed it.
Okay. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of that permanent.
Yeah. So for 5 mana, you make a copy of any permanent. You don't have to own it. For 8 mana, you get 2 copies of 2 things. So 4 total. 4 total things.
Yeah.
2 and 2 each. And then for 11, you get 9 things.
Yeah.
Any permanent. Doesn't matter what it is. Could be lands.
I mean, this card is broken, right?
They're untapped. I mean, it's an extremely high end like commander payoff. It's insane with infinite mana.
They only used like 1 sentence, so they had to make the flavor text a paragraph.
yeah. It was much too simple. So in commander with infinite mana, this just makes people concede because you're like, copy every permanent on the board 122 times. Or, you know, however many total permanents there are on the board. Probably isn't that much. It's probably like 50. Copy everything 50 times. Which is kind of dumb. Like, that's a dumb way to win with infinite mana. Just everyone be like, who wants to deal with that?
Yeah. Start pulling out cards.
Yeah.
And then someone plays farewell.
yeah, none of it actually does anything, and then they just get farewelled. It's silly. I'm not playing this in limited. 5 mana to copy 1 thing. No, you're almost never playing it for 8. If you play it for 8, it's maybe just fine too. Like no, silly card. Commander out of silly. Drag Queen.
Oh, is it me? Drag the Canal. One or a blue and a black instant at rare. Create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. If a creature dies this turn, you gain 2 life and surveil 2, then investigate.
Whoa.
Wild. So,
Wild, but it makes a white creature.
Great with the mill cards we've talked about.
Why would that matter? That it's white and blue.
It's just an interesting choice. They're just trying to do something weird for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So this seems good.
Yeah, it's for sure good.
It's an instant 2/2 for 2, but it can be an instant 2/2 for 2 that gains 2 surveils, 2 investigates.
Right.
Which is like an entire 2 other cards. Like 2 life and surveilling 2 isn't as good as drawing a card, but it's close. That's like 5/6 of drawing a card.
Yeah.
And then a clue token is like 8, 10, 80% of a card or something like that. 75% of a card.
Yeah, this card's just very good.
This card seems good. This card had... So, if it wasn't conditional, if it just did the whole without a creature die thing all the time, I think this is, like, maybe good in a lot of constructed formats. But needing a creature to die is pretty...
I mean, this could be good in zombie decks, right? Where you're sacrificing zombies.
In Commander, I don't think you care enough about this. I don't think you care enough about what this is doing.
Just a lot of good stuff.
But it's all very
care
slow.
about things in your graveyard.
Yeah, maybe.
Hard.
Maybe. It's cuttable.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna butcher this name. Atrada.
Yeah, Atrada.
That's good.
Atrada, Deadly Fugitive. 1 black blue. Another major story hit here. Legendary creature, vampire assassin at Mythic. Death touch 1/4. Face down creatures you control have 2 blue black. Turn this creature face up. If you can't exile it, then you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, cloak the top card of that player's library.
It's a good card.
This card's good. The
Weird.
if you can't exile it, that messed up my throat bad. What happened? Did I just like lose my voice? Hello?
Hello?
Did I just lose my voice doing that?
I think you did.
Weird.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, like, this is obviously good with all the other like stuff in this set, but I mean, do you care about this? Doesn't matter outside of this set. In limited, that is.
I was gonna say, oh, okay, my voice is back, kind of. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I was gonna say, I wonder if you can turn your own cards face up, or your opponent's cards, right? So it's basically drawing the top card from your opponent, and if it's a creature, you could turn it face up. But can you cast your opponent's cards when they're cloaked? Like, what I'm trying to address is, in the ability, it says if you can't exile it. You control, right, but you're going to control their creature. But even if you control...
It says face down creatures you control have this.
I agree.
You pay this.
Yes.
Does that just mean if they keep you from doing it?
Yeah, so it can mean two things. They could play, like, enchantments that say you can't turn creatures face up, or some status effect or something. But that feels like a really narrow reason to put that extra text on it.
Yeah.
So maybe, what I'm saying is maybe if you cloak cards from the top of your opponent's deck, you actually can't turn them face up without this ability. Like, you can't cast them if they're cloaked unless you're the owner. You know, like the cloak.
I think normally cloaked things because cloaked things can't be played if they're instant or sorceries, is why it says this. Because you can only play creature cards that are cloaked by paying their mana cost. It does not include instant sorceries.
Okay, so that's even another interesting point about this card. It says turn this creature face up. And then it said, okay. Yeah, it's this creature, because it is a creature. Wait, it says face down creature. So face down creatures is even confusing, because it sounds like the creature is what's face down. But that's probably not what it means. I feel like it should say cloaked creatures.
Well, it also is the disguise creatures. Because they're face down, 2/2s.
Yeah, but I'm saying... It says face down creatures. Does that mean that what's face down has to be a creature? Or is it just referring to morphed and cloaked things? You see what I'm saying? Like, face down... like, is what's face...
It has to be a creature. It says face down creatures.
It says face down creatures, but maybe it just means cards that are serving as creatures while face down, which would include morph, disguise, megamorph, things that just got other things that got cloaked.
Yeah, that's actually a great question.
So confusing. All right, it's insane and limited. Just a 1/4 death touch for 3 is outrageous, and it makes creatures and maybe does other insane things. So
it gets you stuff off your deck. Yeah,
seems good. All right, God, that was stressful on every level. Here we go.
I'm making sure I don't lose my voice.
I lost my voice in the middle of it.
Ezrim, Agency Chief. 1, 2 blue, 2 white. Legendary creature, Archon Detective. It's a 5/5. It's rare flying. So it's a 5/5 flyer for 5. When Ezrim, Agency Chief, enters the battlefield, investigate twice. Pay 1, sacrifice an artifact. Ezrim gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Hexproof until the end of turn. Okay.
So you're probably playing this on turn 6. You're almost always playing this when you have 6 mana, because the ability to give it hexproof is huge.
Huge. Yeah, I mean this is a bomb and limited.
Yeah, outrageous.
Everywhere else.
Yeah,
outrageous and limited. Yeah, probably garbage everywhere else. Maybe. Like so it's this is one way to look at it. Maybe you don't wait for 6. You just play a 5/5 flyer for 5 that they have to deal with some way that also draws you 2 cards. Like, imagine it's not investigate, right? Imagine this just says draw 2. Is a 5/5 flyer for 5 that draws 2 on ETB playable. I think that's probably insane.
That's probably good.
Because you have to, I mean, it draws 2. And they allegedly have to spend at least 1 card dealing with this, right? It's a 5/5 flyer.
Yeah. So it's ever so slightly not quite as good as that, and then next turn you can give it Vigilance, Lifelink, or Hex.
Unless you have Artifacts energies.
Right.
I think this is actually good. I think we've gotten so used to turning our nose up at creatures that, like, this is only a rare. Maybe. I think a 5/5 flyer that eventually draws you 2 cards is probably... I think this is like an S+ in limited.
Definitely really, really good in limited.
Yeah, and I think...
obviously broken in limited.
Yeah, and I think maybe
it every time.
I think maybe it gets there other places as well. I mean, anything that just generates 2 clues makes me interested. This is Gabe.
FTP?
Nope, not allowed.
Should I go anyway?
Yeah.
Ill-timed explosion.
That's what Mango's having. He's having an ill-timed explosion.
Sorcery at rare. Draw 2 cards. Then you may discard 2 cards. When you do, ill-timed explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value amongst cards discarded this way. Okay.
You gonna play this in the Arcane Bombardment deck?
Yeah, probably.
Hey, you could.
I mean, I could, but also this hits all creatures.
Yeah, well, what do you care about creatures?
I don't like my commander dying. I guess I get a spell back from my graveyard, so that's not like the worst thing. Yeah, maybe I played this in my commander deck. But like, I mean, it's just an interesting rummage. It does also cost like 4 is a lot.
Sorcerer. If this thing was an instant, this thing would be pretty cracked. Like, this thing would be probably constructed playable if it was like
fact
standard.
That it costs 4, the fact that it's a sorcery, like.
If it made 1 treasure, I'd be there.
Oh yeah. If this made a treasure, I'd be all on board. But I do think it's still playable. Like there's still a world I play this in the Arcane Bombardment deck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat.
It also says you may discard 2 cards.
I'm back. What did I miss?
So like,
Draw 2
Oh,
cards.
that's a good point.
you could
But
just
you
draw
can't
2.
discard 1. You either discard 0 or 2. That's funny.
So
Yeah,
you
it
draw
doesn't
2
say up
for
to 2
4.
cards.
Yeah. Huh? No, you only draw 2, but you could just stop there. The rest of the card does nothing. Or you can discard 2, which presumably is a land and something big, and then blow up the board.
Okay.
Maybe it's too easy to say they draw 2, discard 1, blow up the entire board if you have a big spell. Maybe that's just too good.
Yeah, it's probably too good. Yeah, it's neat.
Okay. Neat.
I don't even know how I feel about it in limited, honestly.
Yeah.
Just any card that you discard.
It does hit all creatures, so like you're wiping your own board. Like it's good to have a board wipe, I guess.
Yeah, but this could be just like a 4-mana board wipe, which we've already established is a good thing with additional card selections. This is probably good in limited if you have some big things. If you have that big stupid 6/6 flyer for 7 that we were talking about. Man, I'm getting all the character beats on this divide by 3. I keep getting like iconic character. All right, Azani, center of the web, or Izoni, center of the web. 4 black-green legendary elf detective at rare for a 5/4 menace. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may collect evidence for, which we've established is pretty easy, create 2/1 black and green spider creature tokens with menace and reach. Sacrifice 4 tokens, surveil 2, then draw 2, and then gain 2. So this is a 5/4 menace plus 2/2/1 menaces with reach for 6, which is already broken. And then if you attack once, you then get 2 more of the menace things, and then you're threatening to sack all of them to surveil 2, draw 2, and gain 2.
I will say,
and that's the floor.
Like she's not fun to hang out with.
No, she does not look like she's a good time. And here's the other thing to realize: that sacrifice 4 tokens is just completely static. You could already have a smattering of nonsense in play, and just be like, "I'll draw 4 surveil 2 before you draw, so you're filtering your draws, and potentially filling a
treasures, like
this card's
very good.
I like it. Pretty good in Commander too, just because of the tokens, energy stuff going on. That's maybe good enough. Oh, Mango gets Judith.
Judith, Carnage Connoisseur. 3 plus a black and a blue. A red. Black and red, actually.
The wrong color.
She's a rare legendary creature. She's a human shaman. She's a 3/4. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose 1. That spell gains Death Touch and Lifelink. Or create a 2/2 red imp creature token with, when this creature dies, deal 2 damage to each opponent.
You hate to see this one come into play.
This card is great.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell.
So
whenever.
Yeah, if it's doing damage, then it just for sure is killing anything and gaining you life. And otherwise you're just getting 2/2s that deal damage.
Yeah.
Also multiple times a turn on other people's turns, doesn't matter.
Yeah. All the time. Whenever you cast one. Wild. It never stops.
Yeah, this card is just an only good.
If you play this in Commander, everyone's gonna hate you.
Yeah, I mean it's trying to be a commander a little bit. It feels like.
Yeah, it definitely does. You want to build around this card because it could enable some very specific spells, I'm sure.
40 out of 20 in limited. Don't tap on that. It's gonna come through this. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Good.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem good enough for Commander, to be honest. It's really slow. It's obviously not good enough in Constructed. I kind of don't like this power level because like it's like super casual commander. I feel like definitely doesn't get there in constructed. I don't think very outside shot at standard, and then in limited you're just like whatever. I lose.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's a cool card, but
Yeah, cool card.
I don't think it has a home. All right, the home. Speaking of home, we're in the home stretch now. We're almost there. Gabe.
Thank God.
Yeah, Kaya's Spirit of Justice.
3
Two
paragraphs.
white
Yeah.
and black. Yeah, it's a Planeswalker. Everybody, we're back with Kaya at Mythic, and she's got 3 loyalty to start off with. Whenever one or more creatures you control and/or creature cards in your graveyard are put into exile, you may choose a creature card from among them. Until end of turn, target token you control becomes a copy of it, except it has flying. Surveil 2, then exile a card from a graveyard. A graveyard.
Yeah.
Any graveyard. That's the +2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you 2 loyalty.
Yes. And gives you 2 loyalty. Create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Solid. Exile target creature you control for each other player. Exile up to 1 target creature that player. Okay, so this can come into play, and you can exile something off of their board immediately.
Mm-hmm. And
your thing back the next turn.
No, and not only so let's say you have like 2 tokens in play when you play this, which is reasonable. You can exile one of your like 1/1 flyer tokens to exile their thing, and then make your other one what you just killed of theirs, what you just exiled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no. It's whenever one or more creatures you control in your graveyard are put into exile. It's not your opponents. Okay, I thought you could copy your opponents.
Yeah, it made it feel that way.
In your graveyard. Yeah, so...
But it can also be used to
so this isn't as broken as I thought.
Someone else's graveyard.
Yeah, but I thought you could exile something from their graveyard and copy it.
That would be much better.
That would actually push this card into, like, maybe for real playability. I think it's still good. I mean, it +1s to protect itself.
Card.
So it's a 4 loyalty Planeswalker with that makes a
Planeswalker I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it does seem good. Surveilling 2 and exiling a card is also fine, especially. So the normal play pattern is you play it immediately +1 it, and then you make the decision to -2 to remove something with it, or to +2 to like make that token you just made really big potentially, right? That's the idea.
Yes.
Although it is only until end of turn as well. Yeah, I still think it's good. I just think they really could have made it broken by letting you hit your opponents with that top ability.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be too good.
Hey, yeah, Planeswalkers always seem so nerfed.
Yeah. Unbelievably strong and limited, like very, very difficult to defeat.
Extremely good.
Yeah, very scary, and probably doesn't get there anywhere else. I mean, it does exile stuff, so like in Commander, this thing can really come after commanders. So there's the thing.
Alright.
It's me.
Yep.
Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy. 2 a green and a blue for a 3/4 legendary creature, human fairy detective at rare. However, there's also an adventure sorcery. Tail the Suspect for a green and a blue sorcery adventure. You can investigate, so make a clue. And you can play an additional land this turn. So that's pretty good. That's a callback to Growth Spiral, which is a green and a blue at instant. Draw a card, then you may play an additional land this turn. And then it itself is a Flying Vigilance 3/4. And whenever it attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. So it cashes in your clues for free. And he dovetails into himself, right? Because on turn 3... or on turn 2, you play the sorcery, which accelerates you 1, and then the very next turn you have 4 already.
Right.
So you cast them, and then the first time he attacks, you can, for free, cash in your clue that you investigated. There's been some discussion about this card. I don't think this card's good enough because the front part of it's a sorcery. I don't know, maybe. Because you do still have to kill this thing, and then they still get to draw a card eventually anyway because they investigated. It feels kind of slow.
It feels slow. I mean, I think this is good. I mean, this is obviously good and limited.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Slam dunk.
Obviously extremely good and limited, but like, yeah, in other formats, like it's good in low power commander, I think.
It does just take out an artifact every turn. Doesn't have to be yours. You don't have to draw a card.
Good. Yeah.
Because you can still sack the clue whenever you want to, with mana to draw the card, so you're really not pressed to hit your own. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very good and limited. It just seems a little not quite there.
Oh, I got the weird raptor looking guy.
Yeah, this card's ridiculous.
Kylox, Visionary Inventor, for 5 blue and a red. It's a rare legendary creature. Viashino Artificer. He's a 4/4 menace, ward 2, and has haste. Whenever Kylox attacks, sacrifice any number of other creatures, then exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the total power. You may cast any number of instant and or sorcery spells from among the exiled cards without paying their mana costs. That's
So whenever you see a card like this, the thing that you have to immediately notice is that in order for the ability's resolution to be good, you have to be playing a lot of spells. Mm-hmm. But in order to power the ability, you have to have a lot of creature power, which are opposite things.
Yeah.
Which always makes these things pretty bad. You can play spells that make creatures, like the one that the really good instant Factor Fiction lookalike, right? Like that thing can make a 5/5 flyer. But are you really excited about sacking a 5/5 flyer? I guess you are if it is then casting another one of those spells for free. Along with several other things.
I'm sure someone in Commander could cook up something wild with this, but it's not going to be a good deck. It's just going to be a for fun deck.
Well, the irony is, like, you hit a density of things that make creatures and then also, like, an additional combat phase. And see if you can't go, infinite. You just play a whole bunch of additional combat phases, like Mythics Mastery to recur stuff, extra turn spells. That's actually kind of funny. This thing can maybe go infinite the first time it attacks. Like, in the right commander deck.
Yeah,
like,
with everything in place, for sure.
Yeah, run this as your commander, do acceleration Jeweled Lotus hijinks, right? Yeah. And then you just, you throw this guy down on turn 4. Yeah, see if you can't... Well, you do also have to have, like, power in play in order for him to do the thing. You probably want to sack at least 5 power the first time and then pray.
You know what card this loves is Magnum Opus.
And then pray.
Yeah.
Or Magma Opus. Magma Opus.
I mean, it really loves extra... Yeah, Magma Opus. It really loves extra turn spells as well.
Yeah, for sure. How about extra turns for free and attacking again?
Yeah. So I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, I think it sounds fun.
Yeah, in limited, I don't know.
I don't like this play pattern for Commander personally for me, but
yeah, it's wacky. It's wacky. I like it. All right, bring us home. Gabe, get us there.
Kylox's Vault Strider, 1 blue and a red. Artifact vehicle at Mythic. And it's a 4/4. Collect evidence 6. Kylox Vault Strider becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Whenever Kylox Vault Strider attacks, you may cast an instant sorcery spell from among cards exiled with it. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, put on the bottom of its owner's library instead. And it has crew 2.
So you have to still pay the mana cost of what you're casting. But it is still recursion for spells, which is pretty good. And crew
4/4 for 3.
Crew 2 4/4 for 3 is already not the worst. in limited, this thing is insane. Like that's more why I think it's mythic than anything, because it's very difficult to deal with.
Yeah,
yeah, that would be
in limited. It's if a bunch of these
slam.
were running around in rare, like
Yeah, it would have been very.
yeah.
It would have been very apparent at this point that evidence was not only creatures.
Yeah.
This card, if we'd missed it until this point, this one would have given it away. It would have been like, wait, what?
All right.
And then we would have fallen out of our chair.
Yeah, but this card, very good limited.
It's very good limited. I think it could. I think this is probably good in Hold the Fort.
I mean, it's an artifact, so in like
no, it's better than we think. It's better than we think.
You can collect the evidence.
Yes.
And turn it into a creature immediately.
No. It holds. It has the memory of what it's exiled.
Yeah.
So it's the way that it read, I thought it was like you collect the evidence and then you get to cast something from the evidence you just collected. But it's any evidence it's ever collected. You get to cast cards from it.
Yeah.
So like it's not just this turn. It does have to attack and you only get to do one of them. But like let's say the first time you like collect 2 things you want to cast, you don't miss out on the second one.
Ooh.
Next turn you can actually cast the other one even if you collected different stuff, because it just says cast it as from among the cards exiled with it at any point. Not just this turn. So yeah, it's neat. I don't think that makes it like insanely better, but I think it does make it better.
Very good.
Who is this? It's me.
You.
Lazav, Wearer of Faces. A blue and a black for a 2/3. Legendary creature, Shapeshifter Detective. You can.
I have one.
Oh, you have one in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whenever it attacks, exile target card from a graveyard, then investigate. Okay. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, you may have Lazav become a copy of a creature card exiled with it until end of turn. It's a 2/3 for 2 that draws a card kind of when it attacks. I guess the neat thing here is if there is something already good in a graveyard, in anyone's graveyard, when this attacks the first time, you actually have threat of activation immediately. That's actually what makes this good. I was about to poo-poo this, but like let's say you've managed to put one good thing in your graveyard at least. Then you exile it, and you're for sure going to have 2 mana up when you're attacking with this thing, because whenever you sacrifice a clue, well, you can sacrifice a clue at instant speed. So like you exile something good, and you're like, block it.
Oh. Yeah.
I dare you. Target it with something that would kill a 2/3, but not an 8/8 or 6/6 or whatever I just exiled.
Yeah.
Or even like you exile something that says when this dies, draw 2 cards or something. So it's like targeted. I dare you. I'll draw more cards.
Yeah.
It's already a 2/3 for 2. So this is actually kind of neat.
Yeah, it's a neat card.
It's good.
It's a very interesting line of texts.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a very ingenious way to give threat of activation. Because normally Lazav doesn't do... He normally doesn't do the just become a copy whenever thing. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. I think it's very good and limited, and like maybe even has some hijinks elsewhere. Oh, this is ridiculous. Mango's not going to understand this at all, but read that mana cost.
Leyline of the Guild Pack. We have a blue or a white, a green or a blue, a black or a green, and a red or a green. No, it's or.
Yeah, it's a green or... You said blue or white first. But, so, each one of them is green, notice.
Yeah.
So it could be
just
4 green, and then or white, blue, black, red, or any combination.
Okay, well, it's 4 mana of those colors.
Yeah.
And it's a rare enchantment. If Leyline of the Guild Pack is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. That's good, right? It's just
that's what Leylines do.
Okay.
All the Leylines
all the Leylines do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Sick. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Awesome.
So
this is just a plus.
Yeah, so there's this type of deck that's called a domain deck, typically called Domain Zoo, which there's a bunch of cards. So there's been some sets in Magic's history that care about domain. Domain meaning having a land of every type in play.
Okay.
Typically that's a Dominarian thing. Dominaria is like everyone coming together, the original plane. Yeah. So like just in the last time we visited Dominaria, they printed this really good card that sees play in like all formats called Leyline Binding. Leyline again. It costs 5 and a white. It's an enchantment, a flash enchantment that says this costs 1 less for each basic land type you control, and it just says exile target permanent. So it ends up being, and then the permanent comes. It has an Oblivion Ring text. If you manage to kill Leyline Binding, then the permanent comes back. But it's basically 1 white mana, exile target permanent. If you have every basic land type, and so this just lets you do that turn 1, for instance. That being said, I don't think this card's very good.
This card's very good.
Why are you mad about just starting with it on your battlefield, though?
I mean, it's not. Anything. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for 4.
Yeah, it does nothing. It doesn't accelerate you. It never draws you a card. It never accelerates you. It's like starting a card less in your hand, basically, right? Like, sure, your mana will be perfect.
I love this card.
And I guess you have Zenergies with, like, anything that cares about domain. But is that worth just going down a card? And that's only if it's in your opening hand. If it's not in your opening hand, you draw this on turn 2. Are you ever playing this? Are you ever playing this card for 4 mana?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah. Because you the rest of your deck already supports domain, surely. So you're definitely not playing this in Commander. Yes. The chances of this being in your opening hand in Commander are very small. We can do the hypogeometric distribution, but my guess would be very approximately low. 1 in 100. That's not 1 in 100. That's more than that. But yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Moving on. $9. I'd sell it all day at $10.
Yeah, absolutely. Niv Mizzet, Guild Pact.
Just Guild Pact.
Just Guild Pact.
That's a Niv Mizzet thing.
Yeah. It's Wooburg, so all colors, legendary creature, dragon, avatar.
He's the coolest dragon, by the way.
And it's a 6/6. Flying hexproof from Multicolored. Whenever Niv Mizzet Guild Pact deals combat damage to a player, it deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards, and you gain X life, where X is the number of different color pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors.
Pairs. So this is very Niv Mizzet, very Guild Pacty of him. All he cares about is guilds.
Yeah,
he loves the guilds.
The guilds are always 2 colors.
Yeah,
and he's a 6/6 flying.
This is obviously a commander card. Like, I mean, of course, this card is. If somehow you have all of the filtering in limited,
yeah,
I guess you can play this card.
If you have the ley line.
I mean, I think this card is really bad.
In limited, I think this card's probably fine in Commander. I think it's pretty good in Commander.
Really?
Yeah. So what's the maximum value of X? Quick, go. Just guess.
10.
What's your guess, Gabe?
It's a really slow guess.
It's a quick.
2?
The maximum of X is 2? It's a trick question. Yeah, what's the maximum of X? What's the maximum value X could be?
Anything.
That you're ever going to get?
Yeah. What's the max possible? There is a maximum possible.
Five. 5.
It's 10. Mango got it right.
Right.
There's 10 guilds.
Any color pair.
Any color pair. There's 10 different pairs, so you could hit 10, but that would require exactly 10 permanent, or at least 10 other permanents in play.
Yes.
And it basically never happen. If it did, you just stop playing Magic because you've done it. You've accomplished everything you're going to in life, and you retire.
This card is just so narrow. It's weird.
I love it.
Like you're usually drawing some cards off of it.
This is the sort of thing that you should like, Mango. This is your like.
This is like playing a normal TFT and trying to go for 12 KDA or something.
Yeah. All right, moving on. It's a fun card. It's obviously what it does. You're not doing it in limited unless you're. I mean, there could be tons of multicolored support. We'll see. Who was that? Was that Gabe? All right. Officious interrogation for a white and a blue. No, I'm sorry. Officious interrogation for a white and a blue, an instant at rare. This spell costs white and blue more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target players. Investigate X times, where X is the total numbers of creatures those players control. I realize whenever I do something like that, I'm never listening to what I say. I have no idea what this card does.
I don't either. Because I was just...
You just zoom in.
Well, it's got kicker.
It's got multi-kicker.
It's got multi-kicker, sorry. And, I mean, you're just investigating a ton with it. Like,
you make a ton of clues, I see.
You can just make a ton of clues.
So for 2 mana, you make clues You make clues equal to the amount of creatures someone's controls.
I mean, this is insane and limited, right?
For 4, so it's 4 mana instant speed, make 6 clues.
Yeah.
Probably reasonably all the time 3.
Yeah, all the time 3. 4 mana for 3 clues. 4 mana for 3 clues isn't, like, great. Like, you would play a 4 mana draw 3 at instant speed for sure, but, like, 3... So 1 clue is pretty close to a card. 3 clues is pretty far away from 3 cards.
It's 3 for 2.
You're saying 1
for 2 mana.
If one person has 3? Yeah.
I'm talking about unlimited.
In limited, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. 4 is 6. I thought you said
yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, now if someone... so you're saying you think very regularly one person will have 3 creatures? I think that's fair. So at that point, what this really says is something to the order of, like, make 3 clues draw 1. Or, like, make 2 clues draw a card for 4 mana, because that's probably what you're doing, right? You're doing it for 2, targeting someone that has 3 creatures, and then immediately sacking a clue.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's probably good in Commander as well. Like, I'm probably playing this in my Stranger Things deck's getting a lot of love from all the artifact creation.
So many clues.
Imagine this with Academy Manufacturer. So Academy Manufacturer says if you would create a food, so a food token is something that you can pay 2 and sack and gain 3 life. Also an artifact. Clues do this. Treasures just sack to gain you a mana of any color. Mm-hmm. So Academy Manufacturer is a 1/2 for 3 colorless. And it says if ever you would create a clue, a food, or a treasure, create that money of each instead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this just makes 3 tokens.
Yeah, so each X of that would be 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this card's cool. I definitely want it. If it's any sort of cheap, I'm probably going to buy them up. We'll see. That's a pretty low pre-order cost from what we've seen. Yeah, you play this in Commander and everything. Probably not good enough for Constructed. Definitely good in Limited.
All right. Rakdos, Patron of Chaos. 4, a black and a red. It's a mythic legendary creature, demon. 6/6 flying trample. 6/6 flying trample for
big.
6.
Big.
Okay, big.
Hopefully it does something good, though. Not quite
Yeah.
good enough. We'll see.
Not big yet.
Yep.
At the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, non-token permanents. If they don't, you draw 2 cards. That's annoying.
So it does something.
Yeah.
And that's the turn you play it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't even get to sacrifice tokens.
No.
It has to be something real.
Non-token permanents.
Yeah, non-land, non-token. They're basically creatures or enchantments.
Yeah.
They're sacking something real.
Yeah.
Non-token artifacts, which probably isn't that much of a thing. Or you're drawing 2.
Yeah.
Now, a 6/6 flying trample for 6 that draws you 2 cards, now you're getting there.
Yeah.
This is an S+.
Yeah.
This is what rares normally are. Yeah. Once again...
This card is nuts.
Yeah, this is way into the complaint equity arena of limited, for sure.
You're so upset.
Yeah.
I think
very butthurt.
I think it's fine in Commander as well. Like, I think it's better than it might appear because like 6 isn't that much when you have Jeweled Lotus, you know? Like, it's probably not Seed EDH, but like in a deck that can accelerate this out, this is probably too good for casual Commander because it's very annoying too. And like you're gonna be able to target someone with this where you're always drawing 2, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically, or like sacking their mana rocks or their mana dorks or something, which they're not going to want to do. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I guess it doesn't win you the game itself, but yeah, probably not good enough.
It's expensive.
There's a chance. There's
$40.
There's an outside chance this is good enough in like some constructed as well. Like maybe even as a reanimation target, because it could just draw you 2 cards for free. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it is very expensive.
$40.
22.
22, yeah.
Cool versions, which we'll see at the very end. All right, Gabe.
Relive the past.
The
5
ends.
and a white for 7. Sorcery rare. Return up to 1 target artifact card, up to 1 target land card, and up to 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. They are 5/5 elemental creature cards in addition to their other types.
So it makes 3 5/5s for 7, but you have to have specifically an artifact, a land, and an enchantment.
Yeah, I mean, this is good for Enchantress deck.
This is pretty bad.
Yeah, no, this is a bad card. This card is this card is very bad limited and is like just mid in the Enchantress. That was the only thing I could think of that it's useful in.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Damn, I was getting excited because like they normally don't print Selesnya massive sorceries, but they definitely could have done something cooler with it.
Yeah, highly unimpressed.
I mean, I guess it does reanimate like Omniscience or something, but nah. All right, Teysa, Opulent Oligarch. 1 white-black for legendary creature, Human Advisor rare. It's a 2/3 death touch. At the beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever a clue you control is put into graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 white and black flying creature token with flying. This ability only targets once each turn.
Hated that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, if you manage to hit someone the turn that you play this, you instantly investigate, right? So that's good. Yeah. So this thing likes cheap flyers if you can somehow pull that off. And then it also makes flyers, which then fuels the first part, right? So if it is this card is extremely oppressive. Extremely oppressive if you hit them the turn that you play it. Because all it takes is that 1, and then it just starts perpetuating, right? Because it gets you that 1 clue, and then that clue gets you a 1/1 that then hits them, and it can only trigger once each turn.
But it will happen every turn.
Yeah, and in Commander, you can investigate multiple times.
Yes. So,
like, once again, this is something that my Stranger Things deck would consider, because you could investigate 3 times a turn.
In a build around deck where this is the commander, there are cards in white and black that you can do damage to everyone in play.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the idea too is like, right, with the whole time sieve, is like, I'm just trying to find some sustainable way to make 5 artifacts a turn. And the fact that this can almost by itself get 3 a turn is very attractive.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's extreme. I mean, it's just a 2/3 death touch for 3 is really good and limited. It's probably not good for anything else, but commander, like I mentioned. Cool though. Oh, this card's good.
All right, Tulsimir, the Midnight's Light, 2 a green and 2 white. It's a rare legendary creature, Elf Scout. It's a 3/2 lifelink. When this enters the battlefield, create Voja Fenstalker. What is that? Oh, there it is. A legendary 5/5 green and white wolf creature with trample. There's another 2-color token.
Yeah.
Whenever a wolf you control attacks, if Tulsimir attacked this combat, create creature and a target creature opponent controls blocks that wolf this combat if able.
Yeah, you know, a lot of words.
Yeah.
So this is a 3/2 lifelink for 5 that makes a 5/5 trample.
Yeah.
Already, that's an outrageous amount of stats and good for 5 mana.
Yeah. And
then if any wolf and Tulsimir attack in the same combat, you can force something to block the wolf, but it can also trigger on multiple wolves.
Yeah.
So like, it's not just your main wolf. He's like a super wolf lord.
Yeah.
And the other wolves you're doing, you can. And what's really unique about this is it assigns blockers.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, normally it just says has to be blocked this turn.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that this assigns blockers is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is really good. And in limited, this is like unbeatably good. Because it's a 5/5. Like, it's just gonna eat whatever your biggest thing is.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
And you might have a couple other wolves.
Yeah, potentially. But just because like,
I mean, there's gonna be commons and uncommons.
You basically have to attack. Imagine you have a 4/4 that you're very proud of having played, and then they play this. Like, do you attack your 4/4 into their 5/5? Because if you don't, they're just gonna force it to block your 5/5.
Mm-hmm.
Which is better, I guess, if you don't have any way to kill it. Like, this is just... This is a real feels bad card to have played on you, more than almost anything else. Because, like, everything else is, like, just really broken. Like, some of the stuff that we've seen is definitely a moan. But this one, like, makes you feel like you can play Magic, and then you quickly realize you actually can't.
Yeah.
I guess you can kill Tulsimir, right? And then be happy they merely have a 5/5 trample.
Yeah.
Still,
Nearly.
yeah, still, because they give this thing lifelink as well. It's probably not good enough in anything else other than, like, maybe it's good enough in Elves, honestly, like Elves Commander, Wolf Commander, maybe, but this card is wild. Go for it, Gabe.
Read 1 white and black instant at rare. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn. Draw 3 cards. Each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life.
Okay.
Sacrifice a creature that dealt any damage.
Yeah, interesting.
This card seems good, right?
Yeah, no, I think this card is. I mean, it's really good
Draw
for
3
limited.
cards.
At instant speed.
Yeah.
And a 6 life swing.
Yeah, and 6 life swing.
Loot's easy to divide by 1. Amazing flavor too.
Yeah.
This card's just really good.
This is so good with tokens, right? Like, Orzhov is really leaning into tokens hard this set, which is great. Like, that Kaya is...
Yeah.
Imagine they play Kaya, make a 1/1, and you're like, shit. And then they swing with it, and they, like, sack it, draw 3. You're like, okay. Yeah.
Yay!
I wonder if this has legs and other things. Drawing 3 is a lot.
Yeah, drawing 3 is a lot.
Actually, I just realized something. It being an instance kind of a misdirection. Because it's creature that dealt damage this turn. So, like, you don't have... It has to block and survive, though. So this obviously goes well with tokens, right?
It just makes it more versatile.
No, I think this card's actually now I think this card's actually significantly worse than we think. It's not really an instant.
I mean, are you blocking 1/1 flyers? That's dealing damage, right? And then you just sack it. Yeah,
but I'm saying you play this sort of card is designed to be played in a token deck. I'm talking outside of limited. In limited, you for sure play this card. I'm talking about like even in Commander or anything.
To someone blocking your creature when they attack, and it being then targeted by one of their instants to kill it, and then you just say nope. I sacrifice that creature.
No, because your creature hasn't dealt damage yet.
No, I'm saying after they block, like.
No. But my whole point is that you want to play this with really small tokens, like 1/1 tokens that Orzhov makes.
Sure. Yeah.
But no Orzhov token is blocking and surviving. That's just not what they're gonna do. They're all 1/1s. So the only way that this really triggers is on your turn post combat.
Yeah,
like
95% of the time.
95% of the time in the deck that wants to play this. So it's really a post combat main phase sorcery that's disguised as an instant, but with a very marginal upside as an instant. Because the only time that it would have any actual application is something that's big enough to block and survive could then be sacrificed, which is very narrow. The only exception to this is something that can tap to deal damage at instant speed, right? Because it's not combat damage specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, maybe if you have a creature that says this deals damage to each opponent whenever a creature dies, that would actually be pretty good. But you typically also don't want to sacrifice those, because that's, like, the engine of your deck as well. So, I don't know. Is this me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once again, the story beats.
Yep.
Shastani, 3 Whispers, white, hybrid white and green, and a green. So 3 total mana, either double green and a white, or double white and a green. And it is a legendary creature Dryad at Mythic. 4/4 for 3. Pretty good. Pay 1 and a green. Target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. That's nuts. Green-white. Target creature gains Vigilance until end of turn. That's also nuts. 2 and a white. Target creature gains Double Strike until end of turn. That's the most nuts. So the way that I like reading this is a 4/4 for 3, that the next turn, when you get to attack, you have the privilege of spending 4 mana, which you presumably have, to make it a 4/4 Vigilance Double Strike.
That has Death Touch.
No.
Oh, for 6.
Yeah. It doesn't need Death Touch at that point.
It doesn't need Death Touch.
You're almost never giving this thing Death Touch. You're almost certainly giving like 1/1's Death Touch.
Still very good.
Yeah, this is a kill on sight in limited.
Just imagine popping that pack.
Yeah, oh man, yeah, home run slam. You're just like, as many the next thing I would look for is just as many cheap value creatures as I can get. Give me 1/1s that draw me a card. Give me a 2 mana sorcery that like makes 2 1/1 soldiers or something.
Yeah.
Just like as much small shit as I can get.
Water.
It's just straight face.
Yeah. Oh, give me those green creature tutors so I can get this thing.
Oh my god.
Because there's 2 of them for whatever reason.
Yes.
Rare.
Yes.
This might be good enough in other things, honestly.
Yeah.
Commander specifically, but it's such a house by itself too. Like it swings for 8, like practically the first turn, and it's all threat of activation. You can do any of this whenever, as many times as you like, without tapping. So like you never have to activate any of them. Like it's just a 4/4. And if it doesn't appear that they can deal with it, you're just like...
Yeah, it's a 3-cost 4/4.
Take 8.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
This basically removes. I feel like this kind of removes some aggro decks from the standard format, because if aggro was ever prevalent, it would have to have a way to get through this. There has to be a cheap red spell that deals 4. There's actually a really cheap red spell that deals 5, now that I come to think of it. There is a 1 red mana. Remember that insane red mana sorcery from a few sets back, Gabe? It was like 2 in a red, deal 5 damage to target creature, but pretty easily it could only cost 1. I think it had like bargain, like maybe you bargained it, like sacrifice a token or something, and it cost 1. It was very good. So, all right, we're almost done. You can almost go to bed.
What time is it? Oh, okay.
That's pretty late.
Urgent Necropsy.
That's right.
2, a black, and a green. It is a mythic instant.
Lit.
As an additional cost to cast this spell, collect evidence X, where X is the total mana value of the permanents this spell targets. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, and up to 1 target planeswalker.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that seems fun. At least it doesn't say land as well.
Yeah, land would always be 0, so that would be pretty broken. So this is...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
This is playable in Commander. Because the artifact you're hitting is almost always like nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's almost always 0 or 1, like you're just grabbing a soul ring. And I like that X is the total mana value as well. So you can also, like, you can take out a cheap commander, take out an artifact, and then, like, maybe that's good enough because it's an instant and you're happy.
Yeah. This card is just very versatile and very good.
It's good and limited too.
I really like the art.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool card.
Yeah.
Right.
It might even get there in, like, standard, you know. I don't know if someone's playing if a planeswalker ever gets prevalent in standard, I could see this, like,
Wrong side
maybe being good. But still, there's, like, Assassin's Trophy, which is, you know, better than this.
Better in every way.
Yennefer. Go, Gabe.
Manafar evolved Enigma. 2 green and blue. Legendary creature Elf Ooze Wizard. Mythic.
Ew.
It's a 3/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Look a card from your hand. Okay. Or put a 1/1 counter on each colorless creature you control.
This card's good.
Weird.
This card's good.
Weird.
So
yeah, you can cloak a card from your hand too.
Which it's turning. You can.
It's from your hand. For some reason, I thought it was off the top of your
Top
deck.
of the deck. Yeah, this card would be insane if it was off the top of your deck. I mean, I think this card it has no place in other formats, but is like still good, obviously.
Yeah.
It is a 3/4 for 4, which is
I think
not
cloaking from
great
your hand's
considering
fine.
the value of the other stuff.
Especially if you have stuff in your hand that you don't really need to play anymore or don't want to play anymore.
Or if you have like a little
clicks
little
lands.
instant or enchantment or something or land.
Well, I think it turns lands into 2/2s with Ward 2, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, and they don't know what it is.
That can get
turn
bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no cost to the bigger part.
Threat.
It just happens.
Huge threat.
Yeah.
Like
The
this is
bigger
obviously a
threat
windmill's land in limited, but
I mean, it could do some interesting things with just letting you turn stuff face up as an instant, but you don't get ETBs, which is normally
like,
what things do at instant speed. That would be cool. So yeah, it's neat. It's a bomb and limited. Probably doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
This is me.
Your
War Leader's Call. 1 red white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Glorious Anthem. Whenever a creature enters your battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like this is actually an interesting. This is a non-creature based win con for, you know, decks that can make infinite tokens, right, Gabe?
Yeah, for sure.
Now I have to put. I'll pump you out of 1/1.
Trauma.
Whoa.
So, yeah, this seems. Are you huge? Are you getting huge?
No, I was trying to read the bottom.
Yeah, it seems fine. It's neat. It's like, I don't think I'm playing this in limited. It's like
baller art.
It's yeah, the art's amazing. It's like okay in limited. It's not great.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's probably fine in limited.
World Souls Rage. X mana plus a red and a green. It's a rare sorcery. World Souls Rage deals X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Okay.
That's interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
Again, a kind of like Edge Casey sort of commander card that's once again good in limited.
Yeah.
But not like broken in limited, but it's very playable in limited. Like, if this only dealt damage to a creature, it's actually not that great in limited, because like 2 damage for 4 mana at sorcery speed is not it. But the fact that this can go to face and potentially just deal like 5 damage to the face in the late game, like that's another kettle of fish. And maybe you mana ramp some. So sure. Maybe commander, land reanimation, hijinks, who knows. Alright, Yaris, we're almost done.
Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods. 2 red and a legendary creature. Centaur Druid at rare. That's 4/4. Other creatures you control have haste. Okay.
Lit, the
Whenever
Old
one or
Gods.
more face down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card.
Fair.
Whenever a face down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. If it's a permanent card, then turn it face up.
Ooh, okay.
I don't feel like this should be a rare. I feel like this should be a mythic. Like I don't want any of this.
No.
Like
in limited, this is insane, but like also like this could be a fun commander to build around.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely the cloak morph commander here, but like it cannot be understated how hard that last paragraph / sentence plays into the one above it.
Yes.
Because like you don't want to block because that bottom one, right? Because they just get it transformed for free.
Yeah.
But if you don't block, they're drawing a card.
Yeah.
Which you also don't want. So, like, and every time they morph something or disguise something or whatever or cloak something, it's going to have haste. So it's coming at you immediately from then on as well. To then, again, also feed into the next 2 abilities. So,
ridiculous.
Yeah. S in limited and commander fun out of 10. Now for a few artifacts. Is this me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cryptex. 2 artifact. Collect evidence 3. Add 1 mana of any color. Put an unlock counter on it. Sacrifice it. Surveil 3. Then draw 3 cards. Activate only if it has 5 or more unlock counters on it. Means you have to collect 15 evidence. Minimum. So the smaller the evidence collecting, like you have to think that's actually quite a bit worse because you can only exile whole cards, right? So like collecting evidence 3 could be awkward. So like on average that's probably like 20 total mana value. I think this is probably awful.
This is
awful
so
slow.
unless you're in a spell slinger deck. Like if you're in a crazy spell slinger deck, sure. But like
oh, Gabe, you know what I just noticed? Collecting evidence in general is broken for your Arcane Bombardment deck. You play this in Arcane Bombardment. This is all the exile outs you need because you can collect any number of evidence at any time. So you just guaranteed hit your Arcane Bombardment targets.
Oh, 1,000,000%. And I mean, honestly, it already almost filters enough. So like a little bit of stuff like this, which also mana filtering in that deck is good.
Mana acceleration. It's accelerate. It's a 2 mana rock. So I think we specifically found the deck that actually wants this, and I thought no deck would want this when I first read it.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
It has a possibility.
I'd play it in that deck. I'd play it in that deck.
The draw 3 is...
We did it! That was it. That was the only artifact. So, last, there's a full cycle of 10 of these. These are the new dual lands, and they're true duals because they're double typed.
Yeah, they're actually duals.
Yeah. They always come into the battlefield tapped, and when they enter the battlefield, you surveil 1, which is obviously very good for collecting evidence.
Right.
And in general is just quite good. Surveilling 1 for 0 mana is quite good.
Yeah.
So these are all probably like B's in limited. B minus.
I mean, if they're in your colors, you take them.
Like, you start looking for things that are aggressively good with collecting evidence if you get a couple of these.
Yes.
They're probably not going to be worth much money, honestly, because like always coming into the battlefield tapped like is pretty restrictive. But like in Commander, they're like fine, I guess. I don't know. I feel like they're like $2 or $3 lands, to be honest. What's this guy?
Why is he over here?
Oh, these are the... Okay, so when we go to the pre-release, not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after that, hopefully you're off Saturday, you will get one of 3 promo cards in your pre-release pack that you cannot use as part of your pre-release, but they are legal in everything. Like, they're part of the main set. The only way to get them is in a pre-release pack. They will not be in the packs of the main set. They are legal as part of the main set, but are not legal to use as part of your pre-release.
Okay.
Because why would they do that? So this is 5 mana for a legendary weird detective. Its power and toughness are equal to twice the number of instants and sorcery cards in your graveyard.
Correct setting on the image. It looks weird. Like,
oh, sorry. Yeah. The first instant or sorcery spell costs 3 less to cast, which is a huge reduction.
Mm-hmm.
But like overall, this thing is weak, overcosted. It doesn't draw you cards. No one really cares. I'm just trying to skip to the good one. Atomic Wielder of Law is 1 a black and a white for a 2/4. Affinity for Planewalkers, which is ridiculous text. Flying Vigilance. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or Planeswalkers you control, they lose 3 life and you draw a card. So this card's actually decent. This card's decent.
I think this card's cool.
Yeah, I don't hate this card. It's pretty cool. But the one that everyone is in Aurorus about, a large Aurorus, is Voja, herself, himself, themselves. This is Tomic's Voja.
Okay.
But unbound. Jaws of the Conclave. 2 red, green, white. Legendary creature wolf. At legendary. At mythic is what I meant to say.
Uh-oh. It's a 5/5 wolf.
A 5/5 wolf. Vigilance, trample, and ward 3.
Jeez.
When it attacks, put X counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of elves you control. Draw a card for each wolf you control.
Bowmasters.
Yeah. It's hard to deal with. It's a lot of stuff in your face.
Oh.
This
yeah,
card's
I mean, this
very
is just
good.
a cool card.
It's a very good card. It's a very, very obvious commander.
Yeah.
It does well with shapeshifters, which are changelings, and elves and wolves. Elves and wolves.
Yep.
Very good. People are gonna love it. This card's gonna be worth it.
There's no good elves, though.
That's gonna be worth a ton.
There's not a next page.
That's it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Yay. Now for the last final dessert, we're going to look at cool cards. Cool cards. Huh? What?
Nothing.
I think they have it, right? If I do the number. And then we go down. What are these?
Those are uncommon.
Oh, there's split cards in this set.
That's cool.
There's more artifacts that aren't rare. There's no non-rare land. Oh, here, there's one. Oh, two. What? They don't have the... I thought they normally did.
They normally do.
Here we go. Oh, commander cards. Not reading through that. Let us know in the comments if you'd like us to read it. Oh, this is actually important.
Yeah, the universe beyond.
So yeah,
or the universes within.
Yeah, no. These
Crashing footballs is so cool.
These aren't either one of these. This is the new list slot for play boosters. These are all reprints. These are legal and limited, which is absurd because some of these are like these are all quite powerful cards from the past.
Yeah.
This is insane and limited. Creatures can't attack you unless they pay 2 for each creature they control that's attacking. Gross. Fabricate. Go get an artifact and put it in your hand. Potentially good. They didn't look like there was that many artifacts. There were colored artifact creatures actually. Show and tell. Each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand into the battlefield. This is actually a card in like really old broken formats. Tragic Slip is just insane. Target creature gains -1/-1 until end of turn for 1 black at an instant. But Morbid means if anything's died this turn, it does -13 instead. So like after combat, anything dies, or you just sack like a token or something, and it's like 1 mana kill anything. Victimize is 2 and a black. You sack a creature to return 2 target creature cards in your graveyard, and to bring them to the battlefield. Field of the Dead I'm not going to read, but basically it's one of the really good not old lands, but it's a land that just starts making 2/2s for free whenever you play a land. This is a really cool card. Drown on the Lock.
Not like centered in any way.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Drown in the Lock. Counter target spell with mana value less than or equal to the number of cards in its controller's graveyard, or destroy target creature with mana value less than equal to the number of cards in controller's graveyard. So this will actually be much worse because of Collect Evidence.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Crushing Footfalls, this is a whole deck built around it. In Limited, this is going to be medium. You pay 1 green mana to 4 turns later get 2 4/4s with Trample.
It's really good.
It's insane if you do it turn 1, but if you draw this on like turn 5, you're like, just you wait until turn 10.
Yeah.
You know, which is
turn 10?
Not exciting. Tireless Tracker is really good. Whenever you play a land, investigate. And then whenever you sack a clue, it gets +1/+1.
It's good.
Yeah, this is insane.
Gamble's hilarious. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then discard a card at random, then shuffle. This card is probably not playable in Limited, so... Weird bag for Limited. These are Clue Edition cards that we're also not going to read. Because frankly, I kind of don't want to... Oh, look, they're reprinting the Commander lands in it.
Yep.
Wait, no. I'm dumb.
No.
These are...
Steam.
These are the duels. That's right. Every Clue combo comes with one of these. Huh?
Sick.
Where were you pointing at?
Just the screen.
Oh, here we go. Here's the showcases. These are... So these are one type of showcase, which is interesting.
It's different. I don't know how I feel about it. I need to see it in person.
Well, let me actually...
I just realized they're like...
Let me actually resize this. Live resize.
Live.
There we go. Much better. Should have done that a while ago. Yeah, I don't think... You said you do like these, right, Gabe?
No, I said I need to see it in person. Where I make up my mind.
I don't think I like these. I think I like Tristani. Vanifair is pretty cool. But
like some like wild foiling on them or effects. Like, I don't know. I just have to see them. That gleaming ear drake is pretty cool.
This one's awesome. This card, by the way, is apparently going for a ton of money, so we were right about it being quite good.
Card?
The Delny. The thing that, like, Panharmonicons creatures with power 2 or less.
Yeah. That card is ton.
Yeah. This is very Harley Quinn Joker Massacre Girl. Don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
This fugitive Cobra. This is okay. I love this. I just love this art. It's
good.
Hilarious. Look at this frantic scapegoat. So here's yet a second showcase frame type. These do not look like Magic cards. Are the backs completely black like that? That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
We've kind of never seen such like a cancellation of the normal frame sort of deal.
Yeah.
This is cool. I like how many like uncommons and stuff that they've put with the showcases. Like these are commons down here that I haven't seen. Oh, there's Reenact the Crime. Oh, Intrude on the Mind. These two cards are going to be worth money. This is the one that copies anything that went to a graveyard, and then this is the draw.
Okay.
The big draw one.
Some of these are really cool. I really like the Analyze the Pollen.
Yeah, this Analyze the Pollen. This actually is giving me old Future Sight kind of vibes. Because Future Sight had that really hard... You know the Future Sight future frames that were weird? It had like the curved sides to them.
Yes.
Oh wait.
Oh wait, go down a little bit. The 5-color one looks really good. What was that dragon's name?
Yeah, Niv Mizzet.
Yeah, Niv Mizzet.
And then this is yet a third type of showcase frame that's apparently just reserved for the super legendaries, or like the iconic guild legendaries, I guess, of which there's 4 of them, and then Niv Mizzet, which is just blown out. Oh yeah, and then there's Hidden Ink Foil. Look at this.
That's pretty cool.
And serialized.
But of course, and serialized rainbow foils. And hold the fort. And borderless. And borderless. For a planeswalker, Kellen, for whatever reason, also gets it. Looking, this is very clearly them practicing for Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Like this look, this is literally a comic book. Like this is comic book art, and this is literally frames of a comic, like a graphic novel.
Yes.
Very much Marvel. The lands get the treatment. Oh, and then there's extended art.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yes.
A big blood spatter. Oh, these are some pretty good extended art targets, honestly.
I agree. Unexpected absence.
I love this unyielding gatekeeper guy. Just the joke of him being unexplained absence.
Yeah, that was good.
Huh?
The Merchant of Truth.
Oh my god. This is a commander card. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. Clues you control have Exalted. I don't remember what Exalted does. It's too many mechanics in the pants.
Does a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, and then there. Oh my God! It's Lightning Helix. Oh my God!
Lightning Helix, yeah.
They reprinted Lightning Helix.
Wild.
In this set, in standard, Lightning Helix is back. They printed. So this is really funny to me because these 4 uncommons, these 3 uncommons are all insane, like meta-defining uncommons, and this one's just whatever. It's just a 3-tier reach for 2, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy target token an opponent controls, like whatever. This is the best. This is Mana Leak that exiles, but it costs a white instead of 1 blue. Like they have said, Gabe, for quite some time that Mana Leak will never get reprinted. Like it's too strong. Mana Leak being 1 and a blue counter target spell unless they pay 3.
Yeah.
One of the best counters ever printed. This is a white and a blue counter target spell unless its controller plays 3. It's shocking to me that it does not say counter target non-creature spell. Like that's normally the sort of out. If it said that, this would still be playable. Probably.
Yeah.
Like in the sideboard or something. Like in the counter in a counter matchup.
Yeah, if you need it.
because it exiles 2. This card is extremely good. Then Lightning Helix, literally one of the greatest damage spells of all time. 3 damage, gain 3 life, any target for 2 mana.
Yeah,
Nuts.
Long Goodbye is really good as well.
Yeah, spell can't be specifically because it says can't be countered, and it says Planeswalker. This kills Teferi. This kills that Elk Creator, whatever his name is, that's banned and everything. But like we're talking even like Legacy, or he's actually probably banned in Legacy as well. Commander.
Yeah.
Is he banned in Commander? Okay was his name.
Oh, yeah. You have him in that one deck.
This thing kills Renin 6. Like, this Renin 6 already isn't really being played much, but it's definitely not being played much after this. I mean, this is nuts. So yeah, 3 meta-defining uncommons.
This is so nice.
Yeah, they were swinging for the fences with both of these.
Yeah.
And these are etched foils when you get them in this promo, and they will look incredible. All of these.
Well, good thing we're pulling them.
You have to win to get promo packs that have these in them.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. So prepare to win. I really want to see more. This is one of the cooler things that they've done. This hidden ink thing. This is, but of course, handsome genius.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we did it in the nick of time. Only 20 hours in, and we got there.
Nearly.
Next, we'll spend approximately 46 hours doing the commons and uncommons.
Yeah, the majority of the rest of them.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Gabe.
Yes.
It was
You're
fun.
welcome for my presence.
It was exhausting, as always. And
Yeah, no,
we'll see you guys
it's
around.
good to see this new set. We're excited about it.
Yeah, it looks
See you
cool.
around.
Yeah.
It looks fun. I'm excited. See ya.
Pieces.